We are not okay. And by we, I mean the Black diaspora and quite possibly Black people in general, but I speak from the perspective of those who were taken from their natural state and forcibly brought to an unnatural place that has caused us to be something that we are not, something that is outside of our original self, our original state of peace, prosperity, unconditional love, connection, a connection that is unbreakable with our higher self and with one another. We're not okay because how could we be? After going through all of the trauma of being torn from our original state and torn away from each other. And we're still going through trauma every day. It's hard to feel at peace here. It's hard to feel at home. It's hard to feel like you belong. It's hard to feel as if you can rest easy, because there's always something happening, always something waiting to rip you out of whatever little bit of peace that you may have found. And the peace that we do seem to find from time to time, not only is it temporary, but I do feel that it is also a superficial level of peace, because it seems so fleeting, and because I don't know if we know the true meaning of peace, because we never really got a chance to experience that throughout our experience of being born into this current reality that is so far removed from what our most ancient ancestors built and enjoyed for themselves. We don't treat each other, and we don't treat ourselves with a sense of value and high self-esteem, a high point of view. We're very low vibrational here in this country, and really within this system, which is now a worldwide takeover of evil, perpetrated by those who are unnatural to this planet and to this universe, who are the total opposite of everything that we originally are. And by being underneath of them unnaturally, we've become a distorted version of ourselves that are more like them and a lot less like us. And it seems as if all we can really do, or all that we have been doing for the most part, is trying to cope within their system rather than make the drastic changes that would allow us to go back to our original state of being before they even arrived. Our natural state of true peace, prosperity, connection, understanding of ourselves and one another deeply, lovingly. We don't have that anymore. We get glimpses here and there, but for the most part, we just cope. We pretend that we're okay because that gives us a superficial or a temporary sense of power. If I can convince myself that I'm okay in the midst of turmoil, then maybe it'll magically become true. But that's not entirely how it works. There are many deep underlying issues that have led us to this point of trying to cope and pretend that we can get by and survive indefinitely under the rule of evil. There's no way to truly experience what it is that we crave, what our hearts truly desire, without digging deep and addressing the root cause of the issue. And the root cause of the issue is that we have allowed and are still allowing those who have no business in rulership, those who lack morality, those who lack true power, which comes from a high state of balance, of ma'at, of godliness, that we have fallen so far from. We've allowed those who cannot naturally tap into that to take over our world, our minds, and our bodies. And it has torn us apart. It is still tearing us apart. And we cope, we pretend that it's okay. We ask each other, how are you doing? And our first response is, it's okay. I'm fine. Oh, nothing much is going on. At least I woke up to see another day. At least I'm still alive. The bare minimum is what we've accepted for ourselves. And it's not going to work for the long term. It's really not going to work for much longer at all. We as Black people, as the originators of all that exists, we deserve better for ourselves and for our descendants. We may have temporarily fallen, but it is meant to be just that, temporary. And if we were high up once before, then I know that we can be there again. It just takes letting go of the false, extremely false, and extremely low sense of self that we have taken on. This identity that is not really us. It is not our truth, and that it is not our ultimate destiny. We do deserve peace. We do deserve prosperity and connection that is deep and unfailing, because that is who we really are. We just are. We don't naturally have to struggle and scrape and accept crumbs from those who are greedy enough to hoard the world's resources for themselves and leave us with next to nothing after they have taken it, unrightfully so, from us. The world needs Black leadership. And by Black, I mean the original state of human beings. Human beings that know that God is within and act as such. That is the origin of everything. And that is the end of which everything shall and must return swiftly. We know who we are, enough of us do intellectually, but we have to know it and act like it within our hearts, minds, and everyday actions. We have been permeated with the thoughts, the actions, the ideals of those who are so unlike us. And we have to find the strength within to remove them, remove their influence from us, from our daily lives, so that we can really move forward with true power. Not just a false sense of coping with this temporary state of evil. And it's only going to be temporary because it will have to be us who ends it. It'll have to be our choice to end it. And when we do that, it's completely up to us, but it feels as if there is no more time. That time is running out. Our relationships, our mental state, our physical state of health cannot take any more of the influence of evil within and without. All it has done is destroy us. It's a very destructive and death-centered way of living and being that has been forced upon us. But we are at the age of awakening and knowing we can make a choice. It's no longer being forced on us by outsiders. We have accepted it and continue to allow it to take over our personalities, our lives, our everyday habits, the way we relate to one another. We tend to look down on each other instead of lifting each other up, because We don't we don't even see ourselves in a high state of being. We don't see ourselves in a high light. So why would we treat anyone who looks like us as valuable? Why would we treat them with respect? Why would we be careful with our words and our thoughts around and towards them if we don't even care about our own personal, individual selves within the larger collective? But the sad part about that is we are connected, whether we want to acknowledge that or not. Everything that we do, say, and think has an effect on our fellow Black brother and sister. And we have become very careless with our words, thoughts, and actions that we put out into our collective world. We don't care enough about what our fellow brother and sister is going through. We're too busy worried about what we're going through, even though it tends to be quite similar to what another is going through. And if we would just stop for a moment to tap into our natural state of empathy, we might find that we can address certain things that we have pushed to the side in favor of just trying to get by and trying to cope. We could actually address those things as a collective and heal for real. But we're too busy hating ourselves and each other to tap into the only solution that we truly have, which is self-love and love for our fellow brother and sister. Because if you love yourself, you're going to do what's best for yourself and for those who are like you, who share the same history, who come from the same place, and who have been through the same thing. And again, I speak of the diaspora because our experience is very unique. We are, I feel, in need of the most healing in a lot of ways. And through that healing and that acknowledgement of what we have been through and what we are going through and what we're going to do about it to remove ourselves from these issues, I feel that the end results would be that although we have been at the lowest in the world, we have the potential to climb to the highest and to be the most powerful after having gone through the most. And that is our true destiny. We may have fallen extremely low, but the only place up, or the only place is up now from here. In a lot of ways, I don't think that we could get any lower. I don't think that we can explore evil any deeper. This is it. This is our crossroads. This is where we decide when and how we will take control of our soon to manifest destiny, of taking our world back, taking our lives back, accepting peace and prosperity and connection and love as our true and rightful reality once again. And with that being said, my brothers and sisters, Ashe.